I must regretfully inform you that our brave leader Gibby Digby has passed away. It was from natural causes in the night. He was also stabbed about 20 times by several assassins that raided our base in search of a nice stew a day prior. Here are 7 advanced tips that can help your villagers avoid the same fate as Gibby. First off, let's start with the defense strategy that dominates in the mid-game. This is a detailed guide, so get ready for a whole lot of info. You also need a complete moat around your base for this to work. Cut out a land bridge by ordering a mining request to mine a 2 wide by 15 to 20 long trench. Then space it out 4 spaces and do that again. Then order a mining request from the tip of one side 5 spaces over and connect the line all the way back to the trench. When you're done, repeat this on the other side. Now you have a bridge in the middle and 2 stretches of land that can only be accessed from the inside of your base. Add wood floor connectors to all of these so your villagers can access them, and cover the bridge with traps. Now let's build the archers' towers. Make a 4x4 square and add a staircase, then lay down a floor that covers the entire surface and will actually have multiple staircases for more than one archer. Finally, let's add a wall to each corner with beams to connect them all and a roof to keep the archer dry. I'll even throw on some short cover merlins, but you could use windows instead, which will be better for the endgame. Repeat this on the other piece of land on the left side of the bridge, and keep an eye on the production. I accidentally entombed one of my builders and she had to sleep there all night before I could break her out the next day. Then one guy got integrated into a brick wall, but he kinda just popped out when it finished. For the final touch, layer the middle of the bridge with multiple walls with multiple gates and traps in between every wall. If you already placed traps, you may have to break some to place down the walls. These walls will slow down an enemy's rush and give ample time for the archers to arch. The final product should look like this. You get the enemy alert and manually put 1 archer in each tower. The enemies will then approach the gate, and as they hit the wall, which is their only point of entry, your archers will continue to mow them down. In the endgame, they are helpless since they don't bring ranged enemies, and it's only a matter of time until you win the battle without taking a single hit. Second, waste inside of a regular stockpile square spends good sheltered space on something you can't use, so I recommend turning off waste on all default stockpiles and then placing several waste disposal squares somewhere outside of your base. Third, here are 2 alternative schedules to try on your villagers. The first one is the front-loaded schedule that gives your villagers 6 hours to sleep, then 4 hours to replenish leisure stats immediately after waking up. This does completely contradict my strategy to stagger leisure time, but it gives my villagers time to fully replenish all leisure stats, and when they go from sleep to leisure, they never miss an hour of leisure time like they do when going from work to leisure. Then they work for the remainder of the day and do it all again. The other schedule is interesting in the sense that it breaks up sleep and leisure time and fits both nap time and snack time into the working schedule. They get 4 hours of sleep, 2 hours of leisure time, then they work until noon. At noon, they have nap time and some more leisure time, then they work for the remainder of the day. This schedule also works, but the main flaw is that there's always one villager that doesn't get to bed on time because they're in the middle of a task, and then they miss an hour or 2 of sleep and wake up soon after without getting much sleep at all. I prefer the first schedule, but those are 2 new options for you to try out. Fourth, this is how to expand a basement. Pause the game and drag the mine button across all the land you want to expand into. Then click the cancel button and select certain pieces of land to not get mined and instead act as natural support pillars. You can make larger squares in the middle, leave a line of walls just to leave a couple of consecutive and spread them out, or dot multiple individual ones. Just make sure you have multiple spread out across the basement expansion, and if you think you have too much support and it's getting in the way, try removing support 1 piece at a time. You can always replace it with a couple of regular walls if it goes bad. Fifth, now that we've talked about going down, let's talk about going up. Pay close attention to this one because there's a lot to it. If you want to start expanding into the skies, you should start by creating a room for the escalating stairs. Make a staircase, then a platform, then place 3 walls and another staircase on top of those. Now you should be elevated above the roof and you can begin placing floors. You will be told you can't reach something or you won't be allowed to place a floor somewhere, and that is exactly where you should place a support pillar that you can connect from the ground or from a wooden beam. If you did build a room for the stairs, put another wall on top of all the walls you already placed so it looks like this, and at this point you should have a basic square platform. If you're expanding over open land, place down pillars and connect your second floor roof to the ground, then try to fill it in. Where you can't place anything down, add a pillar. Usually it's 3 on the edge and 2 in the middle like this. If you are expanding over a roof, expand in 4 or 5 squares max at a time. In order to expand over a roof, you need to break one part of the roof at the end of your expansion to place a pillar on each side. After that, you'll notice there are gaps and you need more support in the middle. Extend a pillar through the gap from the first floor to the second floor. If you want to limit the obstruction to your first floor, place a beam, then put the support pillar on top of the beam. It gives you an equal amount of support and a nice open layout on the first floor. Sixth, this is how to deal with the archers that absolutely annihilate your archers. Now that you know how to build a second floor, do that and place 2 brick windows. Position 1 archer on each window and have them be 1 square back from the window if they can still shoot from there. If they can't, move them up. This gives you maximum protection for your archers so they rarely get hit, yet your archers will still hit nearly every shot on the enemies. Make sure the windows are open and don't march out your melee troops until the archers are gone because they do very real damage and take very little. And congratulations, like Obi-Wan, you now have the high ground. 7th, if you are constantly getting raided and stand no chance against the enemy, there is a way to postpone the war. This one may technically be seen as an exploit, so cover your ears if you don't like those. If you quit to the main menu without saving, then resume the game, you will load an autosave that happened at the start of the day, except that raid will no longer happen that day and it will now happen the next day, giving you another full day to prepare once again. You can keep repeating this if need be. If you learned something, drop a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time when I show off my 5 favorite preposterous defense strategies. Thanks for watching.